Games is the topic of this category.
Ooh.
Question 1. What is the least number of moves you can make to win a game of chess?
12.
The answer is 2. There is even a name for this. It is called a fool's mate. It can be achieved only by black giving checkmate on the second move with the queen. You have to really fail if you're going to get a fool's mate. I was trying to look at how to describe what this is, and it was like you move the pawn to g4 and something. I got very chessy and I didn't understand it. So 2 moves is all you need to get a fool's mate and win the game. Question 2. In Monopoly, what color are the most expensive properties?
Wasn't it purple?
They are dark blue. Boardwalk and Park Place are the priciest, and they are dark blue. I think it costs $500 to buy Boardwalk, and I think it costs $350 to buy Park Place. I haven't played Monopoly in a while, so I'm not sure if those are the right numbers, but I think
Me neither.
Question 3. In red light, green light, what happens when red light is called?
You have to stop moving?
You have to freeze. You are right. And what happens if you accidentally move?
You're out. If the person sees you.
Yeah, if you get caught moving at all,
you go
out.
to the way back.
Question 4. What board game lets you build train routes across countries?
Ticket to Ride.
She's got a ticket to ride. That's right. It teaches geography and strategy as you connect cities with train routes. We like playing Ticket to Ride.
I do too. It's a long, patience.
It is a
wasting game.
It is a long game. So we're getting better at it as the kids are getting older.
Yeah.
It is a pretty long game and it takes some concentration, but it is a really fun game. We like it. We have regular Ticket to Ride, which is the United States, and we have Ticket to Ride Europe too.
Mm-hmm. Which one would you say you like better?
I like the U.S. one because it's easier to find New York to L.A. I can find that on a U.S. map really easy, but in the Europe game, I'm not as good with my European geography.
Go to Belgium to Amsterdam.
Right. Paris to Stockholm. I can't picture that as quickly as I can get Chicago to Denver. Question 5. In what board game are you a detective trying to solve a mystery in a mansion?
Clue.
That is correct. Players guess who committed the crime, where it happened, and with what object. I guess it was Colonel Mustard with the rope in the kitchen. What's your guess?
I guess it was Plum with the candlestick in the master bedroom.
Nice. I wonder who's right. Question 6. What game has players acting out words without speaking?
Charades.
Charades is correct. We also have a board game called Gestures that you do the same thing, but charades or Gestures.
Which one do you like better, charades or Gestures?
Gestures, because you only have a certain amount of time.
Because it times you.
Question 7. How does a player get unfrozen in freeze tag?
Do they touch you?
So there are a few options. Another player must either tag a frozen player, give them a double high five, or when I was in elementary school, we had to crawl under their legs.
I remember doing that too.
That's what we did.
We have had so many different freeze tags. We've had skunk tag, we've had Grinch tag. Grinch is definitely the best because they have these mats that they set up in corners and you hide in there. And it's really fun because they turn off the lights and the Grinch gets a flashlight. It's really fun.
Disney Channel movies is this one. Question 1. In Descendants 3, what magical object does Hades give Mal to protect her? A glowing scarf, his ember, or a crown?
His ember?
That is correct. He gives her his ember. The ember is like a magical fireball. It only fully works for Hades, but it still helps Mal big time. Have you seen Descendants 3? Is that the one with what's my name? What's my name?
No, that's Descendants 2.
Oh, that's 2. You guys sang that song so much. It's the only one I know. Question 2. In Zombies 2, what new supernatural group is introduced? Vampires, werewolves, or aliens?
Werewolves.
You're right. The werewolves come out in Zombies 2. The werewolves love the moon and howl when they're excited. I've only ever seen the first Zombies.
There's a new Descendants coming out. It's about vampires.
Is Zevin and Addison still in it?
I don't know.
I did not hear that a new zombie was coming out. That's awesome. Question 3. What is the name of the island where the villains live in the Descendants series?
I bet it said Arendelle, but no, it's not that. Oh my word, what is that called?
The Isle.
It starts with the Isle of the Lost.
The Isle of the Lost is correct. Question 4. In Camp Rock, the band Connect 3 is actually what real-life band?
I don't know.
The answer is the Jonas Brothers.
Oh.
When the Jonas Brothers were younger and Demi Lovato, they did Camp Rock. It is a great movie. I would recommend watching it. But in Camp Rock, they are a rock band who are part of this camp, and their band name is called Connect 3, even though they're the Jonas Brothers. Question 5. What sport does Troy Bolton play in High School Musical?
Basketball.
You're right. He plays basketball. Have you watched those at least?
I have seen that one a few times, not much.
Yeah, those are good too.
Yeah.
Question 6. In Zombies, what is the name of Zed's sister's plush dog? Xander, Zebby, or Zipper?
Xander.
His name is Xander. You're right. I bet it was hard to come up with that many Z names in Zombies.
Yeah.
I would imagine there are not going to be a ton of zombie characters just because it's hard to come up with Z names.
Yeah.
Question 7. In Cloud 9, what sport does Kayla love?
Snowboarding.
You are right. Kayla dreams of winning big and learns to believe in herself even after falling a lot. And the big trick that they're trying to do is the Cloud 9, right?
Yeah.
It is a 9 spins when they're in the air or something like that. And
I probably couldn't even put on the snow thing. Let alone do 9 flips in the air.
Right. I've never snowboarded, but I'm not really into trying dangerous stunts and tricks and stuff. I'm good with keeping my body intact as it is. So.
I do like skiing. I'm still kind of scared of the black markers where you go just straight down and then it turns because I'm just afraid I'm just going to go straight down and fall off a cliff because I'm going too fast.
Well, I don't want you to go down those either. That's not safe unless you're an expert skier. So good choices. History is this round. Question 1. Which Roman building could hold 50,000 people? The Great Pyramid, the Colosseum, or the Leaning Tower?
Colosseum.
You're right. It was built by Emperor Vespasian and used for gladiator contests, animal hunts, and other public spectacles. So the Colosseum is that big open kind of bowl-looking structure in Rome. And they used to have the gladiator fights, and I'm sure they did fought lions and anything that made people I don't know. I assume they probably weren't the greatest of things that happened in there, but people used to go there for entertainment back in the day. So, and the Colosseum is still standing. Granted, it's not in perfect condition, but you can still visit it today, which is very cool. Question 2. What were knights known for wearing in battle?
The chest plates are almost, it looks chained.
What is all of that called? The whole outfit.
Suit.
Of?
Armor.
Armor is correct. Knights in battle were known to wear various pieces of armor for protection, including chainmail, plate armor, helmets, and shields. They also wore padded undergarments and sometimes surcoats over their armor for comfort and to keep the hot sun from making the metal too hot. So you're thinking you're wearing metal and it's a sunny day. I bet that armor got super hot. I mean, you know how hot metal gets in the sun? Those poor guys had to be sweating.
No kidding.
And I think it was really heavy and oh my goodness. Question 3. Which explorer's ship was the first to sail all the way around the world? Marco Polo, Ferdinand Magellan, or Christopher Columbus?
Christopher Columbus.
The answer is Ferdinand Magellan. On October 20th, 1519, Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan, with 5 ships and a crew of 270 men, set sail from southern Spain to circumnavigate the world. The Victoria was the only one of the 5 ships to complete the journey. While Magellan led the initial voyage, Juan Sebastian Elcano took command after Magellan's death and led the Victoria back to Spain in 1522.
So they died?
Yeah.
Like all 4 other ships like sunk?
I don't know what happened to them. I didn't read that part, but only one made it back. Maybe the other 4 stopped and lived happily on some island that they found. We'll go with that. Question 4. Which famous trail helped people move west in the United States? The Oregon Trail, the Kansas Path, or the California Road?
The Oregon Trail.
The Oregon Trail is correct. Pioneers used wagons to travel across the wild land. I'm going to put out the best computer game to ever exist. Oregon Trail. Yeah. And then you'd put all your friends in there, and then Ren would die of dysentery, and Quinn would get typhoid, and Brooks would drown in the river, and then you'd have to stop and hunt for food, and you'd have to wait for Quinn to get over
Fix
her
your
typhoid,
wagon.
and you'd have to fix your wagon wheel, and you'd have to, oh man, it was so fun, so fun. Question 5. What did Paul Revere shout on his midnight ride? There are ships in the harbor. The British are coming, or the regulars are coming out.
The British are coming, I think. Right?
The answer is the regulars are coming out. Let me tell you why. The famous phrase associated with Paul Revere's midnight ride is, the British are coming. However, the actual warning he shouted was, the regulars are coming out. This phrase was more specific and better understood by the locals, as they were still considered British themselves. The term regulars referred to the British infantry soldiers. So everybody there was British in origin. It's known that Paul Revere said, the British are coming, but he really didn't, because they were all British people. So he said, actually, the regulars are coming out, which is funny. That's really not as, that doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well. Question 6. Which artist cut off part of his ear? Leonardo da Vinci, Vincent van Gogh, or Michelangelo?
Vincent van Gogh.
That is correct. Vincent van Gogh is a Dutch painter whose paintings were amazing, but he led a very unusual life and he battled with mental issues. Question 7, true or false? In the past, people had been hired by other people to wake them up.
True.
It is true. They were called knocker-uppers. Before alarm clocks became common, people known as knockers up or knocker-uppers were hired to wake people up for work. Knocker-uppers would have specific routes and schedules, and they often used poles, sticks, or even pea shooters to wake up their clients. They would typically not leave until they had received confirmation that the client was awake and moving. So
Jeez, a pea shooter.
Yeah, so if the person lived on like a second floor apartment, they had a long stick and they would like knock, 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 knock on their window. Or they would like throw rocks or shoot rocks or peas or something. That's just somebody's job to walk around and wake
I
people
wonder
up.
how much they got paid.
I don't know. It was probably not a lot.